Tonight, when the lights go out, your room becomes older than your name. The walls are still there. The door is still closed. Nothing has entered. Nothing has moved. And yet, the moment the room turns black, your body begins to act as if something has changed. Your breathing gets quieter. Your ears reach farther. Your eyes search for shapes that are not really shapes. Why does a safe room suddenly feel like it is watching you? The easy answer is fear. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain is not reacting to the dark as empty space. It is reacting to the dark as missing information. And for most of human history, missing information could kill you. Darkness was not a color. Darkness was a condition. It meant your eyes had lost their best weapon. It meant distance had become uncertain, corners had become unknown, and the world had gained places where teeth could wait. So when the lights go out tonight, your brain is not being childish, it is being ancient. Inside your skull, there is a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. That word sounds technical, but the job is simple. It helps decide what deserves fear before your slow-thinking mind has finished the paperwork. Joseph Ledoux, a neuroscientist who spent decades studying fear, showed that the brain can respond to danger through a fast emotional route before conscious thought fully catches up. That means your body can tense before you know why. Your heart can speed up before you have proof. Your eyes can lock onto a shadow before the shadow has become anything at all. Have you ever noticed that fear often arrives before explanation? That is not a flaw. It is a survival shortcut. In daylight, your visual system gives your brain detail, edges, colors, depth, movement. At night, the details collapse. Your eyes still work, but they work differently. The cone cells that help you see color and fine detail become less useful, while rod cells take over, giving you rougher, blurrier, more sensitive vision. The result is strange. You can detect faint motion, but you cannot identify it well. You can sense a shape, but you cannot trust what it is. And when the brain cannot identify something, it does not calmly file it under nothing. It asks a darker question. What if? That question is old. Long before streets, locks, glass windows, alarms, phones, and electric light, your ancestors lived inside nights that were physically different from yours. When the sun disappeared, the landscape did not simply become dim. It became owned by other senses. Predators that struggled in bright heat could move under cover. Animals that heard better, smelled better, or waited better gained the advantage. The human body was clever, social, and adaptable, but it was not the strongest body on the ground. It had soft skin, forward-facing eyes, hands that could hold tools but no claws. What protected it was prediction. Prediction is what your brain does constantly. It guesses what is around you before the evidence is complete. In daylight, that feels effortless because the evidence is rich. At night, prediction becomes louder because evidence becomes weaker. This is why a jacket on a chair can become a crouching figure. This is why a hanging coat can feel like a person standing still. This is why a small noise from the hallway can become a story before it becomes a sound. Your brain is filling gaps, and the gaps are ancient. Would you rather mistake a coat for a threat, or mistake a threat for a coat? That unfair choice shaped the human nervous system. Researchers often describe this as a bias toward false alarms. A false alarm costs energy and embarrassment. A missed alarm can cost everything. In evolutionary terms, a jumpy brain can survive and feel foolish tomorrow, but a perfectly calm brain that ignores the wrong rustle may not get tomorrow. This does not mean every fear was useful. It means natural selection can favor nervous systems that lean toward caution when information is incomplete. The dark is incomplete information made visible, or rather, made invisible. Psychologist Arne Oman studied how humans detect threatening things such as snakes and angry faces. His work suggested that certain danger signals grab attention unusually fast, especially when they connect to old survival problems. You do not need to have been bitten by a snake to notice a snake-like curve in grass. You do not need to have been attacked in the dark to feel your body prepare in the dark. The brain carries categories of possible danger. It has inherited tendencies, learned memories, and cultural stories all stacked on top of one another. So when the room becomes black, your mind does not begin from zero. It begins from millions of nights. Fear of darkness also begins early. Many children become afraid at bedtime, even in homes that are safe. That fear can look irrational from the outside, but from the inside it makes sense. A child has less control, less knowledge, and less ability to test reality. The closet is not just a closet. It is an area where information stops. The space under the bed is not just floor. It is a hidden zone. The young brain is learning what can and cannot happen, but darkness removes the evidence that usually helps it learn. How can you prove nothing is there when the whole problem is that you cannot see? Adults do the same thing, only more quietly. You may laugh at old fears, but your body keeps records that your identity has outgrown. You can know the basement is empty and still walk up the stairs faster. You can know the sound was the house settling and still pause with your hand on the switch. You can know that the pile of laundry is laundry and still look twice. Knowledge and fear are not enemies of equal strength. Knowledge speaks in sentences. Fear speaks in reflexes. Which one reaches your muscles first? Ralph Adolphs, a neuroscientist who studied fear and the amygdala, worked with patients whose brains responded unusually to danger. His research helped show that fear is not one simple feeling stored in one simple place. It is a network. It involves attention, memory, body signals, facial recognition, context, and learning. That matters because darkness does not create one single fear. It changes the whole context. The same hallway at noon and the same hallway at midnight are physically similar, but your brain does not treat them as the same place. Context rewrites meaning. This is why darkness can make silence feel loud. In daylight, your eyes dominate. They organize the room. They tell your ears what to ignore. But in darkness, hearing becomes more important, and hearing is strangely emotional. A sound does not show its source right away. It arrives without a face. It can come from behind you. It can stop before you find it. That makes the brain work harder, and a working brain is often a storytelling brain. The floor creaks. The heating clicks. The refrigerator hums. And somewhere inside all of that ordinary noise, your nervous system asks if any of it is alive. The dark also changes your sense of your own body. When visual detail disappears, your attention turns inward. You notice your heartbeat. You notice swallowing. You notice the pressure of the blanket. You notice the tiny sounds made by your own movement. This can make fear feed on itself. Your heart speeds up because you feel uneasy. Then you notice your heart speeding up. Then your brain treats that body signal as evidence that something must be wrong. The danger may be outside. The danger may be inside. Or the danger may be the loop between the two. Have you ever become more afraid simply because you noticed you were afraid? Psychologist Martin Seligman once described the idea of prepared learning. The basic idea is that some fears are easier to learn than others because they matched problems faced again and again in ancestral environments. Snakes, heights, strangers, enclosed spaces, darkness. These fears are not identical, and they are not destiny, but they are not random either. Modern life gives you new dangers, yet your body often fears old ones faster. You are more likely to feel a primitive chill in a dark forest than in front of a glowing power outlet, even though electricity may be the more realistic threat. Your body does not read statistics first. It reads age. That age is everywhere in the modern night. Electric light is so recent that your biology has barely had time to understand it. For hundreds of thousands of years, sunset meant a real boundary. Activity changed. Groups moved closer. Fires mattered. Voices mattered. The edge of the firelight was not just a pretty circle. It was a border between known and unknown. Inside the light, faces could be read and hands could be seen. Outside the light, the world became guesswork. Tonight, your lamp is a tiny artificial sun, and the corner beyond it still knows how to become a cave. This is why the dark feels alive. Not because it contains a creature, because it activates the part of your mind built to search for creatures. Humans are pattern-finding animals. A pattern could be a footprint, a face, a trail, a warning, a pair of eyes. Finding patterns helped your ancestors track food, avoid danger, and understand other people. But the same gift has a cost. When the signal is weak, the brain may find agency where there is only accident. Agency means the sense that something has intention. The dark is full of accidents that can briefly feel intentional. A branch taps the window. The brain says, someone. A pipe knocks in the wall. The brain says, movement. A shadow bends at the edge of vision. The brain says, figure. Most of the time, the answer is nothing. But nothing is a conclusion. Something is a warning. And warning is faster. Your brain does not wait politely for certainty when uncertainty has the shape of a possible threat. That is why darkness can turn imagination into a sense. Culture deepens the feeling. Every childhood story, horror scene, whispered warning, and bedtime memory gives darkness a library of meanings. Monsters live under beds because under beds are hidden. Ghosts appear at night because night removes evidence. Threats wait in forests because forests block sight. Even when you stop believing the stories, the emotional grammar remains. Darkness means reveal later. Darkness means not yet seen. Darkness means maybe. And maybe is one of the most powerful words in the nervous system. But there is a twist. The dark does not only frighten you because it hides the world, it also frightens you because it reveals your dependence on the world. In daylight, control feels natural. You can look, choose, move, check. Prove. In darkness, control becomes fragile. You realize how much confidence comes from vision. You realize how much of reality is borrowed from light. Without it, the mind has to admit something uncomfortable. You are not just a thinker inside a body. You are a body constantly negotiating with an environment. What feels like imagination may actually be your nervous system asking for better data. This is why turning on a light works so quickly. The room does not become safer in any deep physical way. The chair was already a chair. The hallway was already empty. The coat was already cloth. But the brain receives information again, and information calms prediction. The unknown shrinks. The possible becomes specific. The monster becomes furniture. The ancient alarm loses its evidence. Light does not defeat darkness as a substance. Light defeats uncertainty. Yet the old response never fully disappears. It waits under modern life. It waits under passwords, locks, street lamps, screens, and bedroom switches. It waits because your brain was not designed only for the world you live in now. It was shaped by worlds that came before this one. Worlds where night had edges, where fire was technology, where staying close to others could mean surviving until morning. You carry that history in small ways. In the quick glance toward a dark window, in the sudden need to close a closet door, in the comfort of a hallway light left on for no clear reason. So the next time the room goes dark, listen carefully to what your fear is actually saying. It is not saying you are weak. It is not saying you are foolish. It is saying that your body remembers a planet without switches. It is saying that sight is precious, certainty is recent, and safety has always depended on knowing what shares the dark with you. The feeling may be wrong about the room, but it is not wrong about history. Tonight, when the lights go out, your room becomes older than your name, and for a moment, your brain remembers how to survive inside it.